right, what up, folks? This is Elijah 5000. You heard the music, and you're like, what is this? He's trying to lip sync. I don't understand what this is. Some of you guys will know what that music is. Some of you guys won't know whatsoever. If you do, it's from a video game, a very popular video game. That series is not, they've had a new installment since then, but it's a great game, a lot of fucking fun. You guys should know this game. One I've talked about a lot, favorite. It actually had a Netflix series. Not a lot of people were interested in it. Don't know why. Fucking amazing. But yeah, I am here for you guys. We have the full summary spoilers. As you can see, there are different faces. Somebody already said something. They were like, why are these faces of rocks changing over time? And I was like, very good. The chapter title is Echoes, and those are echoes of former rocks. A man that is a former shell, if you will, of himself. What I'm doing now, I'm trying to go ahead and share this last one before we get started. But he's a shell of himself. He's changed drastically over the start of this. He was here for family. We saw him take on the world at all different avenues. He's got a family member named Davy D. Jones, who in the brief spoilers was said to be king of the world. So we have seen this man really change our minds and the expectations that we had for him based off of what Sengoku said, based off the small things that we finally figured out about him and what we thought God Valley was. I think that the character development for Brox D. Xebec, Davy D. Xebec, was amazing. And the way that Oda revealed him in the series and didn't give anything up, didn't take away from his character, even though he is a man that wants a family. He is a loving family man. Nothing that has happened to Rocks throughout this series has made him less of a pirate and less of a full character. And I am still sitting here. I'm not arguing with anybody that's going to say, well, what about Roger? What about Garp? You know, we're seeing that shit firsthand. We're seeing both of them and their characters expounded upon. Now, I have not taken down social media links where you can find us. Let's go ahead and take those down. Remember, Twitter is @_edge2gaming. But we're getting more and more from Garp and Roger. They're becoming more fully fledged characters, fully fledged people. Is the camera out of focus for you guys? Let me fix this real quick. But we're getting more full-fledged characters. That's the one thing that I am enjoying about these characters in God Valley. God Valley could have been a just skip over for Oda. He didn't have to go into it as much as he did. He didn't have to retcon, add more shit. We didn't have to know. And I love, what was it, 1160, 1161, where we had the panels of the Rocks Pirates, Roger Pirates, Garp and the Marines coming in, and then the Knights of God alongside everybody else. I mean, the slaves, the Celestials, those orchestrating, fucking amazing. Let's get into these spoilers. There's 3 pages of spoilers. These came via Pew Piece, via Redon of Arlong Park. Remember, you can always find links to everybody that I follow, which are other One Piece content creators, which content create different topics. And why I say they content created, they're not just regurgitating the same thing. These people I follow have different avenues, different perspectives, different professions to where they're dissecting One Piece. And I also have native Japanese speakers that I listen to get a better, fuller, more reasonable context of what is written by Oda, because a lot can be lost with the kanji, the katakana, and the translation to American English. Really, a translation to any language, but English for some reason is said to be very, very hard, and some things don't translate at all in any language. So it's better to go to the primary source. We got these. This is chapter 1165. There is a break next week, but we're getting this right after 1164, so we're eating good. We're fine. This is called Echoes, as the title of the chapter. That's another reason we faded out rocks, or Xebec in the top. Now, reader request in the cover. Beppo laying comfortably with Zeus as a pillow. So Oda added Law to the cover, and all of them are sleeping on top of a giant sheep. So it wasn't Beppo and Law, it was just Beppo and Zeus, which I love. I think that they are very similar characters. Beppo loves Law, loves to help out, but it's so goofy. Same thing with Zeus. Zeus is kind of like, aura farming off of Big Mom, and then now he's like, I'm Nami. So Zeus is just a goofy ass fucking homie. And to know that Zeus was here in God Valley, Zeus level. Okay, we've been trying to. I put a poll out and I said, which trio do you like the most? I'm going to ask this question to you now. You can vote on Twitter. You can vote here on YouTube. The first trio, Monster Trio, which could be any three variations. We're adding Jinbei because the numbers on the crew. Now, I don't think he's in the mid trio, but it could be Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, Sanji, Jinbei, Luffy, Zoro, Jinbei, or you could do the Midley trio, which is Frankie, Brooke, Robin, or you could do the Cowardly trio, which is Nami, Usopp, or Chopper. Now, Nami's still in the Cowardly trio, but as far as her stats in the crew, with Zeus, who fought against Imu, with a young Lin Lin right beside Davy D. Xebec, who knows the history of this fucking world, that this was erased. And he was with Rox's crew, so he knows Article 18, know the 25 things of erased from history outside of God Valley. Nami just jumped up to mid-tier, damn near bottom of the top tier. We're not having this debate. She just did because Zeus is that fucking strong. Let's continue. Chapter starts where the last one ended. Garp asks Roger if he can also hear Rox's voice or Xebec's voice. Roger confirms he can, and then Roger and Garp attack the demon Rox. We see multiple pages of battle. So yes, Oda, how many pages? This chapter is 17 pages. So the majority of this is the battle between Davy D. Xebec, Goldie Roger, and Monkey D. Garp. So we see the multiple battles, or pages of battle. Roger and Garp's attacks didn't wound Rox. Yes, there we go. This confrontation ended with a colossal clash that created a massive wave of Supreme King Haki. Roger and Garp crashed into a mountain, and then the Haki split the sky over God Valley. So this is our next clash. We had a clash between Whitebeard and Demon Xebec. Now we have another one between Garp, Roger, and Xebec. Now, again, let me remind you, motherfuckers, you need to put respect on their fucking name. My boy Newgate with the flowing blonde locks and the white ass mustache beard. We're gonna call him White Mustache right now because he's young in the game. He went up against a transform Davy D. Xebec. That means he's bigger. That means he has more power imbued by Imu. Goldie Roger, the Pirate King, the future Pirate King, Monkey D. Garp, the fucking long dick of the law, future longer dick of the law, come in and they do the same thing. Thank you for the follow, Osagi. Thank you so much. And they come in and they are having this battle with a demon filled Davy D. Xebec. So we're just putting respect on people's name. Lin took a kick and got knocked out. Kaido got crashed to a mountain. They wasn't ready yet. These three people are legendary in the world of One Piece. You got to put respect on them. But they got hit into a mountain, but the clash split the sky over God Valley. Roger and Garp got up after the clash. Despite being wounded, they took off their jackets. Hell yeah. Hey, if somebody cracking knuckles and they take off the coat, it's about to go down. So they take off the jacket, ready to continue fighting. Two little Dindin Mushi start ringing, and they talked with their commanders. Roger and Garp both told them over the Dindin Mushi, we will return. Garp says, Rox and Roger, I was planning on putting both of you into cuffs on this island, but now, I love the follows. Thank you so much. Yes, follow everywhere, share. Thank you so much. Roger says over the Dindin Mushi after Garp, he says to Garp after Garp says that he is planning on putting him down. And my original plan was to take Shaki and the treasure and get the hell out of here. Seems like we will have to team up, huh? Garp says, not my intention coming here at all, but I suppose leaving this fellow to his own is out of the options. Then Roger and Garp attack Rocks again. At the same time, we see that Rayleigh reached their ship and brought Shaki to safety. The Roger pirates arrived too with all the treasure that they could get. So that means Shanks is now on board. Then it tells us that we see Kyo telling his men to take the ship and leave the island. Shiki said too that this is the end of the Rocks pirates. So, out of everybody here, let me just say this. Goldie Rogers is a pirate king because he completed his goals. Rayleigh got his woman Shaki, so he helped his right hand out. He helped his boy. Then they got the treasure. They got. And I'm going to say something. I know there's a different kid of prophecy, kid of destiny, besides Shanks, but they got Shanks here. And then he went back to fight on his own. He didn't have to. He went back to fight Emu. He felt the Haki and said, I'm hard. I've got to go back. You guys take the treasure, take the booty. I got to go back to the center of town. Something there. I got a twinge in my plums. I just got to go. Then Garp himself is like, yo, Sengoku, did you know this fucking bullshit was happening? Pissed him off even more. Fuck these motherfuckers. You know what? I'm working with the baddest motherfuckers here. I'm working with Goldie Roger, and I'm working with Rocks Xebec, because y'all are fucking up. What up, Pork Chop TV? Thanks for the follow. And so, both of these men, their own conviction, went back. This is why Garp is a hero of the Marines. This is why Roger becomes the Pirate King. Even though their attacks were not working, these men went back and they were continuously fighting with a demon that would not relent and kept getting back up. Put respect to these motherfuckers, Dave. So, Kyo is telling the Rocks Pirates that Shiki's telling them this is the end. They're done. We already had Ganzu blow up Captain John with the booger bomb. Then he tried to blow up Shiki. Shiki whooped his ass. Now we see Kyo telling the men to get on the ship, and everybody's like parting ways. Like they were already leaving because they want a treasure. And remember, Shiki was with Lin, Kaido, and Whitebeard, beating the fuck out of the Navy, the other pirates, and trying to help Rocks before, and then all of a sudden his ass went to go get treasure. And I think it's because Ganzu pulled up on his ass. But the Rocks Pirates is done after this, and Rocks isn't even around. He tried to save his family, and they were saved, but he is being taken over, manipulated. Lin and Kaido were talking in the other part of God Valley. They were fine despite Rock's attack. So they just got hit. They don't know why their boy Rocks hit him. They was asking weird questions. They're talking. And Lin says, listen now, Kaido, this is the debt of a lifetime, and I will make you pay me back one day. Kaido says, idiot, I beat you in that competition for the fruit. That's the simplest truth, Lin. Just you see, I will establish a crew where violence is everything. Lin says, getting ahead of yourselves, aren't we? You will never surpass me. And then Strussen, who everybody fucking forgot about, he goes, Lin, what are you doing? We're leaving. Take the treasure. Lin says, I will come to collect that debt one day. Kaido says, and I will throw you back where you came from. And this is why they started fighting on Wano. And then after the fight, bygones be bygones. In the other part of God Valley, though, Newgate met with the pirate who looked just like Marco, which we see him in the flashback kicking somebody. And everyone's like, what? Marco's been with Whitebeard that long? And then his name, he's Polo Graham, captain of the Polo Pirates. So Marco is his son, his Polo, Marco Polo. And he's actually a captain. Polo goes, Newgate, you are the one who crashed the mountain, aren't you? Looks like the crew is falling apart. My name is Graham. I'm a fan of yours. You got no ship to return to, right? Work with me. And Newgate says, sounds like a plan. Get lost. Hey, what's up, everybody in chat? Thank you. I'll look at chat later on for live reads, for reactions. We try to go through these, and then I'll get to you guys. Stussy. We haven't seen Stussy. I forgot about Stussy. Stussy should have been trying to find Roger this whole time. Barbell. I got to give a shout out to my fellow Oki Sai, who's been waiting for Barbell to be pulled into this. Sorry, Sai, I don't think he is going to be, but Stussy, Ganzu, and Gil Bastar, I forgot. Gilbastar were also running away with several treasures. Gilbastar was accompanied by a ghost that looks similar to the one that Perona creates in the present. So Stussy was very angry, asking where is Newgate. So we got the past user, the Jiko Jiko no Mi, was Captain John. We got the past Booger Booger no Mi user, which is Gonzu. Fucking Perona's Devil Fruit is used by Gilbastar. Again, like I said, Roger pirates. None of them that we know of have a devil fruit. Rock's pirates all have devil fruits. Luffy has a good even amount. Who else has all devil fruit users on their crew and is chasing a dream similar to their fathers? Davy D. Teach, Blackbeard. Gotta look at these similarities. In one of the Marines' battleships, Dragon was threatening a higher rank Marine with a rifle. There we go. This is why Dragon's... You gotta put respect on Dragon's name because his bounty is high. And the world government is still after his ass, but he knows so much, just like Roger. And we'll talk about this later. It's why they kept their hands off, because Emu could kill Dragon at any point in time. But he holds a rifle on the high-ranking Marines to take some surviving civilians on the ship with them. On the other hand, Rayleigh and Gabon decided to return to the island to look for Roger. They asked Roger pirates to leave the island and wait for them. Okay, so now Roger's boys, the left and right wing, come with him. They go back on the island trying to find Roger. So everybody right now, the pubes grew into long flowing locks. Dragon tried to save Shanks. He tried to save Shanks and Shamrocks, dropped Samrock, fumbled Shanks, and now he's like, I got a gun. You better let these survivors on the ships. But just like on Egghead, just like on O'Hara, they are not letting anybody that knows shit about what's going on because they're planning to cover this shit up. They're killing everyone. Then we saw Gabon and Rayleigh go back on the island. Emu is in Saturn's body. So it says normal Saturn's body now has Emu's eyes. So he's not looming or sitting on top of Saturn anymore. Emu is in Saturn's body, and they left the island on the world government ship. Emu ordered to erase God Valley from existence to Davy D. Xebec. Then the narrator explains how Marines from G11 base and Cypher Pole 6 erase all the information about God Valley and the hunting game tournaments. We already knew that. That's nothing new. But it is Cypher Pole 6, CP6, and G11. Garp and Roger versus Rocks continues. The other huge mountain of God Valley was destroyed during the battle. So now God Valley has no mountain. It looks drastically different. I am on the bandwagon that the reason why Gecko Moria, aka Gecko Kazuki, is he is a Wano resident, but for some reason he was here on God Valley. I can't remember the timeline now. We got to go through this theory again. But God Valley, Fallen God Valley, is the base of Thriller Bark. Because we know Thriller Bark is an island that's moving. This is why Gecko Moria has damn near every single Rocks pirate. We know they didn't die here because they're getting on the ship and leaving. But there was a battle here. Garp and Roger continued or couldn't damage Rocks because even though they coded their attacks with Supreme King's Haki, Rocks used his Supreme King's Haki to cancel them out. So again, this is the same thing that we've seen. If you have Haki, we saw this with Luffy and Kaido. Until Luffy's Haki could overcome Kaido's, there was a stalemate. And then there was even points, even with Katakuri, his Haki hadn't grown enough to challenge Katakuri, and his hands and shit was Haki coated and fucking on fire. So they're all on the same level. Even demon form Davy D. Xebec is equal with Haki imbued Supreme King Conqueror's Haki, Monkey D. Garp, and Goldie Roger. Against this background, Roger suggested to pour all their Supreme King Haki together in one attack to overcome Rox's guard, but that plan had a problem. After that attack, Roger and Garp will have nothing left. So basically they just dumped everything into one attack. Let's go big on a gamble, but Garp agreed with Rox's plan, or with Roger's plan to take down Rox. Then, in an absolute epic final double page of the chapter, Roger and Garp used a combined attack to defeat Rox. Roger's attack, new attack name, Hinokagutsuchi, no ace, which means wise man of flame god. And then Garp uses Infinitum explosion. Roger attacked with multiple thrusts to cut Rox's body, and Garp threw Rox several punches at the same time. This attack looks similar to Luffy's Gum Gum no Gatling, or Katakuri's Gatling, or Deku's that we saw in My Hero Academia. The chapter ends with a Rox defeat as the narrator talks about the legacy of the Rox pirates. Narrator says the world government sought to conceal the incident in their entirety. However, the group under Rox D. Xebec was an organization of chaos that shaped an era. The collapse of the Rox pirates shook the world with its defined echoes. End of chapter, and there is a break next week. So, dude, chat's going wild, dude. Thank you for all the follows on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Facebook. Hey, Pork Chop TV, Usagi's everywhere. Thanks. If you guys want to talk about art, illustrations, shit like that, hit me up in DM. So let's go through this chapter. 17 pages of badassery. We got the fight between Rox and them. I've already said things that I was thinking. Knights of God. Where the fuck are the Knights of God? Where are they at? I don't know where they are. If they are not actually fighting, then I think their ass is still knocked out by Xebec and the rest of them, because we know the Whitebeard took out one. We know that Xebec ended for Garland and whoever was with him, along with his family. Where are the Knights of God? We need to see the Knights of God. We need to see them get some action. The Rox Pirates are splitting up. So are we going to see... we don't really need to see Gilbastar fight. We see the Ghost, so we know what his ability is, but is Barbell going to fight? Stussy, are we going to see what she has? Did she have this devil fruit that our current copy, our clone of Stussy has? And then also for the Roger Pirates, what are we going to see from Scopper and Rayleigh? Are they going to make it all the way back to where Emu is? And because the Rox Pirates, Lin, Newgate, and Kaido got to throw down with Emu, are they going to sneak up on Emu? Are they going to get a fight Rox? I don't know. It seems like he says, these are the early spoilers. They say Rox is defeated by Garp and Roger. I hope so. But if he is not, because he has that regen ability, are Rayleigh and Gabon here to finish the blow? Or are they here to take Roger and Garp back because they can't defend themselves? Who knows? It is very interesting to me. I said this last time, I think, or maybe I was having this in a conversation. I think I told you guys. Emu, you can't throw hands. Emu's super strong at persuasion. He's a nigga in the club. Emu can talk your ass off, but they don't throw hands. The Emu possesses people and then uses them to possess other people, or to do Domi Reversey, basically. Once we get to Mary Joa and they try to throw down in the fight, Emu's going to throw hands the way we haven't seen before. For Roger, this shapes the way that Roger's going to find out more about the world to take down Emu himself, but also he wants to find all the secrets of the world, and I think they stumble upon a poneglyph here, or something about the One Piece that starts this journey. And then because Roger finds out he's dying, he speeds up that journey, because I do think his legacy would have been even greater than David E. Xebec if he would have had more time. And why has it been so quiet in between now and here? I think that's Roger's adventure and legacy that we'll find out later. Xebec, I do think that Eris and Teach are alive on Leloucia. I do think Leloucia was currently destroyed in our current timeline when Sabo snuck into Mary Joa and had the message from Cobra, because Emu found out that Eros was there. Because remember, I think it was Saint Saturn was like, "Are you sure, Emu, to destroy Leloucia?" And he's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, destroy it," because he found the last Davy, or what he thought. Yeah, I don't know if he knows that Teach is Davy D. Teach, because the name's different. So these new attacks, I can't wait to see how they look on the panel. We've got so many new moves from Garp and Roger. Really, this era was the era of badass fucking pirates. From what we know as of now, Kaido, Lin, Newgate, Roger, Xebec, and Garp all have faced Emu controlling a Gorosei member. They know what happened on God Valley. And Monkey D. Dragon know what happened on God Valley. That's 7 people. If we think Kaido and Lin are dead, that's 2 gone. Roger's dead. We still have Garp. We still have Dragon. And I will give Dragon benefit of the doubt. If he said we could not move until the Knights of God does, as much shit as he has seen here on God Valley, he fucking knows. He's pulling a weapon on his own higher ranking Marine to try to save people. He is no longer about this shit. Garp isn't about this shit. We are going to find out after this why Garp is still in service to the Marines. But just like Roger, what I was saying earlier, I think that One Piece talk, and then somebody else was talking about this. Why did the world government not touch Roger? And they're trying to point holes in the fact that Roger was able to tell the world about the One Piece, and the Gorosei Dibu did nothing. I think when Roger came to them and turned themselves in, there was a truce to where the Navy, the military, is like, we want to show a force, we want to publicly execute you, even though you're turning yourself in. And Roger's like, okay, well, I'll do that, but you can't touch this, and you can't touch that. And knowing that they might not honor it, he gave them specifics, and they felt like they had the upper hand. That's the only reason they didn't dog collar him. Same thing on in Marineford. They had no reason to think that it was going to get that wild, get that crazy. Because even if you would have put the Gorosei there, there's no telling at the point where Whitebeard, where he was to say the One Piece was real, they would be able to stop him from saying that. Trying to give Emu all this power and all this knowledge, then Luffy and Shanks would never have got the Nika fruit. Emu would have taken over Elbaf already. Emu would have taken over God Valley without any problem. So Emu's not all omnipotent. They don't know everything, and they're limited in their power, but their power is fucking grand because they have the power to forcibly change people's hearts by wavering their spirit. The stronger their spirit is, the more underhanded bullshit they have to do. They had to talk about Rox's family and killing them, and had to talk about Harold and the Giants and overtaking them to sway his intent, because he was no longer just full of rage. He was feeling sorrowful, sad, some anxiety, worry, and that's when he turned Domi Reversi. Same thing we saw with Dory and Brogy. Brogy got his hand cut off. What the fuck? And then seeing the rest of his crew change and not being able to help him, they were shook in that moment and able to be turned. Because before, they were going through the fucking hockey clashes and the waves that were on Elbaf. Like nothing, trying to make their way to save the kids. Even when they were afraid of their wives, they were still, hearts were not wavering in what they were needing to do. But also, great, vast, strong warriors of the sea, scared of their wives, were taking damage at that time. Not as much, but a little bit, because they don't want to harm their wives. It's their intent towards the target. Let's dive back into this chapter. What are the theories I have? The theory that Emu can't do anything physical and Emu has to overtake somebody is leading to the fact that if you have a spirit that can't be wavered, or if you can cause fear in Emu, you can disrupt Domi Reversi, which we saw in Egghead when Emmet had the Haki Knot of Joy Boy, let it go. Again, in Mary Joa, fucking Emu felt it, got shared and shake, and was like, Joy Boy. The Abyss contract broke. The Gorosei went out of demon form and got transported back to their office. And they were like, what the fuck's going on? It's because he was scared. He was shook. You changed the intent and wavered Emu's heart. So Emu is a regular motherfucker like everybody else. And I think that clash between Luffy, who has taken up Ace's dream, which was Roger's dream. We have, I really think Blackbeard's taken up Xebec's dream to an extreme, because he was there 2 years old and saw God Valley as well. And Kobe's taken up Garp's dream because he wants to protect everybody. Garp's just like, you need to protect the young. they're going to shape the future, because he saw what the old heads were doing on God Valley. This is why Garp is a man of his justice. The conversations that we got between Linlin and Kaido, if this is why they say that you can't trust any pirates or you'll always be betrayed, they had no idea Rocks had changed. But there was a comment like, Linlin's like, Rocks, did you get bigger? He had fangs. He had flame aura and wings coming out of his back. If they can't understand something different happened to Rocks and this is why they left, then I don't know. You know, it's just they are pirate at heart. They are the base of pirates, you know, which is fine. I don't mind, but I think that it's a little bit more complex. I think Kaido betraying Linlin and taking the devil fruit is one of the reasons she doesn't really fuck with pirates that much. She only trusts her family. Strusson stayed beside her the whole time, basically, and then Rocks turned on her, and then she saw the rest of the Rocks pirates leave. I think those three reasons are for her. Kaido saw the Rocks pirates disband. Nobody helped Rocks. He saw Rocks slam him into a mountain, not know what happened, and then even Linlin turned on him, even though he says they had a fair competition. I think these are the reason Kaido needs to amass a strong crew built on violence, and he doesn't worry about trust. The rest of the Rocks pirates were just there for the money at this. This was like a big bang. I want to know where they go from here and how they die, because that will tell us where everything else is. Crocus is still alive for Roger. We haven't got to hear too many stories from him, but we got to hear from Rayleigh and Gabon. From the Roger pirates, not a lot of them talks. A lot of them went to have their own crews, and where Roger and his crew that finished their journey got to relax. And I think we get to see those parallels for who is coming to Elbaf to do these fights. Blackbeard's crew is inevitably going to disband. Kobe is going to change the shape of the Marines, maybe just help disband the world government with Luffy. And Luffy's crew is going to everybody's going to get their dream and disband, or have their own crews and then keep traveling. I think they're going to disband, though. There's not much here. It's very straightforward. This is a lot of battle, a lot of fight. We have Dragon. I want to know how he gets out of this, because he's got to be court-martialed. He's got to be put in the brig for pulling a rifle. I want to see ERAS and Teach on Lucia. Kuma, the Superman of this motherfucking story. The Kuma is the kid of prophecy. His whole life was devoted to everybody else, and if I guarantee he's getting his soul back with Vegapunk, and I want to see Vegapunk get his body back. I'm interested to see the conversation between G11 and Cyberpole 6, or see if we see anything else from them. But other than this, just see the jackets taken off, see the Haki, and watch Garp and Roger whoop ass, and see what attacks Davy D. Xebec has, even though he doesn't have control of his mind. Are there any more voice of all things? We have a couple more chapters. Even though this is the end of Xebec, I don't think this is the end of the flashback. I think maybe 2 more chapters before we head back to Elbaf. And then, because it's been 4 months since we started this conversation. So probably 5 months, and then back to Elbaf. And then we're going to see some of the similarities to God Valley to now. And is Elbaf going to change? Is Elbaf really getting ready? We've already fucking Jinbei saved a branch that was fucked up. But if Xebec, Garp, and Roger and Whitebeard knock down the pillars of God Valor, the two that were standing up on the mountain, they're gone. How is Elbaf going to look? How many branches are going to be left? And what is that going to say for Elbaf and the rest of One Piece? Because this is a legendary tree. Has legendary properties, and we still don't know that much about them, and we haven't been all the way up to the top. So what's going to happen next? Throw your comments, your theories in the comments on any platform: Kick, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I will go over these on Sundays. We'll read these during the live show. Look for more polls on YouTube and Twitch or Twitter, and answer those so I can read those as well. On what do we think? Do we think that ERAS is still alive? Who's your favorite trio? I've got some questions based off these, because these spoilers are fucking crazy. Xebec, Roger, and Garp had the same level of Haki throughout this fight. And Xebec is demon form, so is his normal Haki comparable to Garp's and Roger's? That's the question. Is that why he was never king of the pirates? But for a motherfucker that had 25 counts, plus God Valley incident stricken from his record, not only to protect the Gorosei in them, but also just because, you know, I think that puts him up in those rankings, even if his Haki is a little bit weaker than Rogers. I don't know how to quantify all of Rock's because of him being taken over, but I know this motherfucker was stopping the Knights of God in their track. I know he killed his whole family and took out demons. So I'm gonna say that they kind of even, just not being able to control his will makes him a little bit weaker. Like Captain Ginyu took over Goku's body. That wasn't his soul. That wasn't his spirit. He didn't know how to train. So he could never unlock the full powers and abilities. I'm Elijah 5000. Thank you guys so much for joining. This has been my coverage of the full spoilers via Pew Piece, via Raydon from Arlong Park here on Edge 2 Gaming. Follow every week for brief spoilers, full spoilers. We do have to go over... do I want to make this? I want to make a separate video. I don't want to make this one about it, but we have to go over the SBS that just came out because Frankie is officially Queen's baby. Queen is that boy's daddy. And I love it, but we got a lot of other things answered, some other officials, some weird questions. But as always, this is your place for One Piece. This is your place for streams. Join me for my Street Fighter journey. I have officially put in, I think PlayStation said 30 hours, but since I've been playing with you guys, I think I put in 27 hours total of practice, getting better. Risen from level 5 CPU, fuck off, level 6. I'm like a high level 6, low level 7 fighter. So if you guys want to play Street Fighter, hit me up, let me know. Dragon Ball Fighters, Naruto, whatever it is. I'm your guy, Elijah 5000. This has been the full spoilers for 1165, and I will see you on Sunday for the full read. I was saying 10 a.m., but it's going to be later. It drops 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, but I also like to hear from native speakers to see what I have missed within the chapter before I cover it for you guys. So it'll be later in the evening. I'll find an official time and put that down so that way you can set your schedules each and every week to join me for some One Piece talk. I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, let me know if you can guess the music, what video game is from. You'll win something from me. But we also have our special music entity, which is Rifty Beats, which you can find him on YouTube and Spotify. Free music for content creators that you can stream any platform. Just give him a shout out, share his information, and let him know. Thank you guys. I'm Elijah 5000, and I'm out.